Waits till the time rings. I want to welcome everyone here tonight to the New Year 2022. We hope we soon see the end of COVID. My wife and I finally came down with it, and we missed Christmas with our grandkids. We sat at home and stared at each other. And I had the vaccine, and she's an anti-vaxxer, and she rubbed it in when she got better than I did. So that being said, I'll just tell you my little dilemma. We're going to have Christmas this weekend with our grandkids. So we have some public presentations and comments, and we always let those go prior to us opening the meeting. We do have 6 tonight. And I'll go down the order. I think one went to the wrong courthouse, went to the Hammond Drive courthouse, and we will move her to the end of the, is Paulette Floyd Washington? Oh, you did make it here? Yes, okay. Well, you're first on our list, Paulette, and please come up here, state your name clearly for the record and the video and where you live, and tell us why you're making a public comment.
My name is Paulette Floyd Washington. I don't know if you all believe in reincarnation, but Albert sent me here today. I thought it would be a little joke.
I know Mr. Albert.
All right.
Or knew him.
Well, I want to thank you guys. The family, we are very grateful for the comments that we were able to observe over the internet, the last meeting that you all had concerning the cancellation of his contract. Unfortunately, he did, and my mother came down with COVID, and they passed away in September. My dad has been, his whole life been in Walton County, and he loved the idea of serving the county and the citizens here. And in his honor, we would like to continue his contract. We listen to some of the inquiries that you all made concerning how to regulate the usage, and we feel like all those things are quite reasonable. Because we got a formal notice of cancellation in December, it's been very difficult for us to sort of try to meet some of the things that you all are looking to see. We have an electrical meter there. We don't have a water meter. So there are certain things that we need to do to put it together appropriately to present to you. So we just wanted today to be a notice of what our intent is for the future. We would like to continue that, and then we will submit a proposal for you all to vote upon. We're hoping to do that immediately now that everything is back open. So that we can have some kind of conversations with different parties that would be a part of setting the meters and different things. So we think we should be able to get it back to you in a very timely manner. So we think we need at least about 30 days to be able to do so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and thank you, and Happy New Year to you all.
And sorry for your loss.
Okay. And I really do thank you all for the compassion you showed on the video. It's been a loss, but he had a whole lot of kids left, so it's a lot of him still walking around.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Mike Simmons. It is.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. And you don't have. Well,
I'm fine. Go ahead. No.
okay.
Oh, there it is.
The reason why, I'm Michael Simons, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why I'm passing out the paperwork is so that for the 3 minutes I have, we can quick get through this and we can refer to it. The top sheet you see is from the Walton County Planning and Code Enforcement Division, which gave me a warning and a notice to buy a permit to recover my roof. I got this on a Friday, on the 4th of November. On Monday, I spoke to the code officer. He referred to the code on that paperwork, which shows you that you must have a permit to recover your roof or to do any work on your roof, on the sense of covering the roof. I went down to the code office and got a copy, that's your second page, of the code that they refer to. Now, the code that they refer to is a building permit, which I do building. I am a quasi-builder, and on this property, I had a permit from a year earlier. Now, this permit that they're referring to only refers to the framework of the roof, not to the roof. There is nothing on here that has an inspection of the roof or what type of roof you put on. Now, I took it to Ms. Parker, the director of that department, and complained to her about this, that they're enforcing a law that's not on existence. She said to me, and that's in the next paper if you look, and she sent me a copy, that basically the Walton County Commissioners gave her or the department permission to require building permits on covering your roof, replacing your water heater, or replacing the HVAC system that's all existing in your home. You're not building anything, and they're not inspecting anything. The final thing that I want to show you is the last page, which is a complaint. And that complaint, excuse me a minute, is against Mr. Robert M. Matt Greer. He is the Chief Code Enforcement Officer for Walton County. If anybody ought to know the codes of Walton County, this gentleman should. Well, in fact, he put in an HVAC system without getting a permit. And when I was questioned as how, from Ms. Parker, as how do I know that, it's because I know the installer. Now, what we have here is do as I say, not as I do. I don't have to follow the law, but you do. And that also, when you inspect the law, and that's why I gave you copies of that so you can review it, it doesn't state it. There's nothing in there about a roof. Okay? It's that simple. So, to me, this is a form of, racketeering? I know it's kind of a harsh word, but if we, the citizens, were to demand the county to pay me a $50 fee that we think that we have a right to without a law or a code, that would be extortion. So, I don't know if they don't understand their laws. They're trying to use the building permit as a covenant to this whole thing, and you can't do that. It's like if you make a left-hand turn and an officer is sitting here and the sign's over there and it says right on there, the traffic code, do not make a left turn, and it cites the code and he writes you up for a ticket. He had the right to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have no problem with planning and development in the sense of code enforcement. The protection of the public is vital to a roof staying up over your head, as well as the taxes being retrieved for any building that's going on or deleted. That's the only way that they know what's going on, and I appreciate that and I understand that. But this goes far and beyond that. This is, I want money and I'm not going to look at anything, and I have no justification for getting this money. And when I refused to pay it back in the 4th of November, guess what? They did nothing. And that's why I'm here tonight, because I am hoping you folks will back the taxpayers of this county and protect us from this type of harassment. There shouldn't be a law. If you change your roof, you shouldn't be required to get a permit. It's your roof. If you want to change the water heater in your house, you shouldn't have to go to somebody and get a permit. Okay, thank you.
3 minutes.
Sorry.
Listen,
Thank you very much.
that's okay. Thank you, Mr. Simmons. We'll look into this, okay? Okay, Mr. Richard House. Is Mr. Richard House here? Would you like to speak? You were on the list, signed up to speak. You don't have to, but if you want to, you're more than welcome since you're on the list, Mr. House.
My name is Richard House. I live in Logan's Ridge on Georgia 20, right outside of Loganville. And we're here to talk to you about the subdivision that's supposed to be across the street from Thomas Drive in Georgia 20. He's going to put 300 three-story homes on this thing, fenced in. Traffic is already bad on it. Georgia 20 is terrible. This is going to be, he's going to put his own sewer system in, and he's going to put his own water system in.
We will,
Mr. Chairman.
we will
Chairman.
hold a public hearing on that zoning issue.
Okay.
And if you would speak then to that particular zoning issue, then that way it'd be part of the official record that we do. But I'm familiar with what you're talking about, and I'm familiar with the public response to it. Thank you. Yeah. All right, Mr. Jeff Henson.
My name is Jeff Henson. I live at 3842 Jacks Creek Road in Monroe. I'm here tonight to speak about Resolution 8.4 and to respectfully request that the board does not agree to modify the Service Delivery Strategy Agreement at this time as the City of Loganville has requested. On August the 27th of 2020, I made a written request to the City of Loganville Public Utilities Director, Chris Yancey, for a capacity letter for a 72-lot subdivision based on the Service Delivery Strategy Agreement with the city that the city has with Walton County to submit with my rezoning request to Walton County. On September the 2nd, 2020, Mr. Yancey wrote back to me to inform me that the city currently had the capacity to provide utility service to my future development. He went on to say that the City of Loganville will look forward to servicing your development and making this adventure pleasurable for all parties involved. After getting the go-ahead from the City of Loganville for capacity and realizing I did not meet the county minimum acreage requirement for an R&D on sewer and would not likely be granted a variance, I agreed to purchase an adjacent house and 3.5 acres to meet the minimum requirement. However, after making application to Walton County for rezoning, the current Utilities Director, Brandon Phillips, and the City Manager, Danny Roberts, did not want to honor the capacity letter given to me by the former director, Chris Yancey, who at the time had approximately 24 years of service with the City of Loganville prior to his retirement. On March the 4th, 2021, a recommendation of approval with conditions was given by the Walton County Planning Commission. On April the 6th of 2021, the Board of Commissioners ordered that the application be tabled indefinitely until the board could receive clarity on the sewer from the City of Loganville. On May 18th, 2021, my attorney sent a letter to the Public Utilities Director, Brandon Phillips, and copied City Manager Danny Roberts requesting an updated sewer availability letter. No response was ever made by the Utilities Director or the City Manager for that request. On June 17th of 2021, my attorney filed a lawsuit in Walton County Superior Court against Brandon Phillips and the City of Loganville. On November 17th, 2021, I went through with the purchase of the adjacent house and 3.5 acres to be in compliance with the county's minimum acreage requirement. This is not I don't have a contract to purchase contingent on zoning. I own the property and own the majority of the property since June of 2019. It's a very large investment that I have in this property, and I have made decisions and invested time and money based on the current Service Delivery Strategy Agreement. And I would like to have my day in court with the City of Loganville and allow the Superior Court of Walton County to make a ruling in this case before a modification is made to the Service Delivery Strategy Agreement. Therefore, I respectfully request no change be made to the Service Delivery Strategy Agreement at this time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Henson.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Joshua Scoggins.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'm Joshua Scoggins with the law firm of Miles Hansford and Talent. My address is 202 Triple Gap Road, Cumming, Georgia. I represent Mr. Henson and am here to echo his statements tonight in opposition to Resolution 8.4. amending the service delivery strategy agreement with the city of Loganville. As Mr. Henson said, we have a lawsuit pending against the city of Loganville because we have in essence taken steps, including acquiring easements, assessing pump stations, and agreeing to make improvements to pump stations to have this development sewered. And we have been sitting here watching this service delivery strategy agreement amended to expand municipality service areas, which is normally the case across the state. And now we see it shrinking. And we all know why it's doing that. It's doing that because we don't want to have sewer in certain places. And frankly, it is being done in this particular case to create a situation where it moots the claims that are raised in this lawsuit against Loganville. We would respectfully request, if you are going to agree to this amendment, that this particular project be grandfathered because he has spent over $1 million in reliance on assurances made by various city officials. The problem, and what I certainly want to avoid here is, right now this is a dispute with Loganville and Mr. Henson. If we had changed the service delivery strategy to shrink this service area and prevent Mr. Henson from being able to tie onto sewer, I'm not going to have any choice but to join the county in the same lawsuit because that's the only way to obtain the relief we need. I don't want to do that. That is the last thing we want to do. So I would respectfully request that we not shrink this sewer service area by amending this agreement. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, and thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Scoggins. And Mr. Craig Pendergrass. Pendergrass, I'm sorry.
Spelled many ways. I was here last month. I imagine y'all recall that, and y'all did the right thing last month in protecting me and folks like me in the service area outside Monroe City limits that has long been in the sewer service area. And now, apparently, they want you to revisit it again. It's a very similar situation to what I just heard about here with Loganville. And there is no need nor rush for you all to do anything to change those service delivery areas. Those are where they're outside city limits. That's for the benefit of your, unincorporated Walton taxpayers, property owners. You don't need to do anything to change it to have the Stanton Springs piece of the puzzle go right through. That was adopted in that resolution by you with proper notice on the agenda in advance in November, and all the towns have agreed to that. So this has nothing to do with messing with the Stanton Springs deal. It's good. You don't need to do another thing. It does have to do with protecting folks like us. And again, there's no rush. As I said in my email to you all earlier this week, the city of Monroe has 1.5 million gallons a day of unused capacity. Why they're trying to not allow for service to folks like us is beyond me, other than that they are just really trying to, kind of put the screws to folks who aren't within their city, folks who you all represent. So my request to you is, stand your ground. They have requested you to change that service area. You don't have to agree to that request. Stanton Springs is fine. It's gold. It proceeds. But you all don't have to agree to that request. You don't have to agree to the city of Loganville's request. You've got an agreement with them that says they're going to provide service to us and folks like us in near Monroe. They've got an agreement with you that says that Loganville's going to provide you service. So they should stand by that agreement, and so should you all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, that concludes the public comment section. I'm going to ask everyone to please, and let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tim, would you? I will. Hang on just a minute, Will.
Father, thank you so much for this day. Please watch over us tonight and guide us and help us to make the right decisions for the county and all the people. Please be with our nation as we try to get over this virus, and be with everyone that's got it and help them to get better, help us a speedy recovery. Please be with our county officials as they deal with it. It's a fight. Please watch us as we leave tonight. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, I'll call us to order and roll call. Let the record show that all board members are present with the exception of Commissioner Warren, which started feeling a little poorly this afternoon, and I ask him please stay home. On the adoption of the agenda, are there any additions or deletions that need to be added to the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion to adopt.
Have a motion by Commissioner Banks.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Dixon. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? It passes unanimous. And now we'll go right into the Planning Commission recommendations, which
We have a few.
we have a few.
Okay, the first case is approval of Z21090019, rezone 7.57 acres from A1 to R1 to create 4 buildable lots. The applicant is Kevin Beckman. The owner, S.E. May Johnson. Property located at 2073 Laurel Gate Lane and H.D. Atha Road. This is in District 4. It was tabled last month, and Mr. Beckman has decided to withdraw this case.
And we need to just accept the withdrawal.
Yes, sir.
Entertain a motion to accept the withdrawal of
Mr.
this.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept the withdrawal of this case.
All right, we have a motion to accept the withdrawal.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? That passes unanimous.
Okay. All right, the next case, 4.2, is approval of Z21100013, rezone 1.175 acres from A2 and B1 to R1 to create a buildable lot, a buildable residential lot. The owner and the applicant is James Draper III, property located at 3352 Bowl Springs Road in District 4. At the Planning Commission, there was no opposition, and it was recommended for approval.
Okay, we'll open a public hearing on this application. Is the applicant here would like to come forward and tell us what they're wanting to do, please? Yes, please come to the podium. We're trying to record everything just in case someone's,
And I made a mistake. This is District 5.
this is District 5, okay.
Hello, good evening. I'm James Draper III, and I own this lot here that is currently split zoned and it's commercial. Portion of it is commercial. I'm asking the board to rezone it to R1 in order to build a 1,600 square foot single-family home
On the lot?
on the lot.
Okay. All right. Does the board have any questions, Mr. Draper? All right, Mr. Draper, thank you. Okay, is there anyone else here in support that would like to say anything of this application? Is there anyone here in opposition to this application that would like to come forward? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing on this application and entertain a motion from the board.
Chairman, I make a motion, we approve this based on the planning and zoning's recommendations.
Okay, we have a motion for Commissioner Adams to approve as presented.
Second.
Got a second? Take your choice, Tim or Mark. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimously. Okay, 4.3.
Okay, this is approval of Z21100014, rezone 12.40 acres from A1 to A to grow and sell vegetables and eggs at market. The applicant is Vicky Fry. The owners are Vicky and Steve Fry. Property is located at 590 North Cross Lane Road. This is in District 5. The applicant was at the Planning Commission meeting. There was no opposition, and the Planning Commission recommended approval as requested.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll open the public hearing on this application. Is the applicant here like to give us a brief run by what you want to do?
I'm Vicki Fry. We have been farming the land since 1994. Was told needed to go from A1 to A so that we could sell to the public, or not to the public, just sell in general. Basically, everything will be the same as what we've been doing since then, so nothing will really change.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you. Yeah, I hate it when code interferes sometimes. I'm an old farmer myself, but is there anyone else here in support of this that would like to speak? Is there anyone here in opposition to this that would like to come forward and speak? If not, I'll close the public hearing, entertain a motion from the board.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, we approve this based on the planning and zoning's recommendations.
Okay, we have a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second. Commissioner Bradford, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Thank you all.
Mr. Chairman, I'd also like to make a comment about this. I work just down the road from this, and they do an amazing job with what they do. You need to ride by sometime and see what they do.
I do.
It's good to see farmers.
You know, we used to run Thompson Family Farms up at Campton and had the produce market and my sons, and my heart's out to you. It's a tough life. So, all right, thank you. All right, let's proceed on.
Okay. 4.4 is approval with conditions of Z21100020, rezone 5 acres from A2 to B2 and 4.92 acres from A1 to B2 for retail stores and restaurant. The applicant is Terry Mitchell. The owners are Hannah Mitchell, Jeffrey Mitchell, and Jennifer Mitchell. Property is located at 6230 Centerville Rosebud Road and 6200 Highway 20. This is in District 2. There was some opposition at the Planning Commission, but the Planning Commission did recommend approval with no outside storage and an evergreen buffer to be placed between the commercial use and the A1 and R1 zonings.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to open the public hearing on this application. Is the applicant here and would like to come forward, please, and kind of give us an idea of what you're planning to do? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Terry Mitchell, 6306 Centerville Rosebud Road. In 1967, when I bought this land on this washboard road, I didn't think that I would be standing here tonight. And it was in 1967, which is over 54 years ago, as you know. But anyhow, I stand before you as a person who I inherited Copart, which is 156 acres of 22,000 cars across the street from my house, which I'm sure all of you are aware of. It's one of the largest storage lots in the world, part of a 200 operation in 20 countries. So I thought that that was the worst thing that could happen to me. And then I get a letter from the state, and I've been working on this for 12 years, and that document stands in front of you, is the largest roundabout to be built that's ever been built in the state of Georgia. They have built them in South Carolina, but it's 3 lanes going in, 3 lanes going out, and 3 lanes going out another way. So if I want to go to my house coming from Loganville, I'm going to be able to take 2 exits to get into my driveway. They're taking all of this property for the roundabout, which is the size of a football field, off both my sides of the property. My son is a lieutenant colonel in Germany right now, and he had a house across the street from on 20. And our land is 34 acres from the new 30-acre truck parking lot on the Loganville side. And on the north side, I have the 156-acre, 600-truck-a-day operation of Copart. And then 12 years ago, the land on the back of me was zoned commercial and, office and in institutions. So, and then my land goes almost to Rosebud, to the county line. So I'm up in that corner. And most of this rerouting of the road is going to take place on my farmland. I was perfectly happy with my goats and my hay. I'm 74 years old, and you know, people don't adjust to change as much, but we are trying to. The documents I just showed you, the state is already out there. They've done the drilling for the impact of the road, and it's taking our property and splitting it up in about 3 ways. So we're going to be divided by 20 already, and then we're going to be divided from the property on the corner. And I did a little study on 20. 80% of the land between Centerville Rosebud and McCullers Road has been or is being zone commercial. About half the land between me and Miller Bottom Road has been done. So basically, I stand before you as a person who doesn't have any say in what I'm doing. The state has basically dictated to me, they're taking approximately 4 acres, and they're taking the whole road out of my property. Fortunately, they're putting back the old road, which I never dreamed that would come back, but they're closing and abandoning that road, so they give it back to the people that gave it to them to start with. So basically, we have rented the house of my son, and we're, you know, at the point where we're totally surrounded. So anyhow, this was the best use we could come up with. This is where we have interest in people wanting to come there. And I guess that's about all I can say about this as far as Gump says. But if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Well, I'm familiar with this proposed roundabout. The county's been notified that we got to move utilities. Our water department's going to cost us $1.2 million just to move, and the DOT's not going to help us either on that.
Well, this is a $2 million roundabout. I've seen it one time in South Carolina. It's on Hilton Head Island, and letting these trucks come in there has not helped it. We've had 1 wreck a week since the trucks have come in there. And guy's put in 30-something acres. I calculate when he's full, he's going to have 800. But this roundabout is going to be so big, it's going to scare a lot of people. Because
Okay.
like I said, I've seen it, and it's and I've seen it on my property now, and they're out there and they're working, already doing.
It's in the works, yes, sir.
It's in the works. Okay.
Okay, is there anyone else here would like to speak in favor of this rezoning? Is there, you'd like to speak in favor of it? Yes, ma'am. You want to come forward and tell us who you are, or you're welcome to.
My name's Susan Mayer. I live down off of Dove Drive, excuse me, right around the corner from him, and I certainly empathize with everything that he's saying. I've been up and down 23 times today, and I didn't realize until I started talking to other people. We feel like we are the red-headed stepchildren down on that end of Walton County. Quite frankly, it's ugly. It's turning commercial. If this goes through, and I certainly understand what he's talking about, I feel very sorry for him. You call it Copart, it's not Copart, that's a junkyard. It's exactly what it is. It's gotten to the point where you drive by and they have the cars stacked up, probably 3 high, because sometimes you can see them over the fence. With this roundabout, I have no idea how it's going to work with those trucks. I have no idea.
Well, that's out of the county's
Right.
field too. That's DOT's call.
My issue with traffic never really goes so much to traffic, it goes to danger. 20 is a dangerous road. I have literally almost lost my life on that road. I've been also T-boned on that road. The only thing that I ask for is if this goes through, and I do not know what stipulations you can put on it, but if they could, and who knows what will go in there, I don't know. But if they could put it back off the road, if there could be some stipulation to where it's not right there in our face like everything else is. Like I said, it's just, if you guys don't go down that stretch of road, you know how unattractive it is. There's nothing to do down there. So that's just the only thing that I ask, if there's any stipulation you could put on it for whatever is built to be off the road and not right in our face as we drive by. Thanks for letting me speak.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else, and I was doing in favor, that sounded opposition more, is you agree with him? Okay. You just would like to see it? Okay. Is there anyone here in opposition to this rezoning? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion. The Planning Commission recommended approval with no outside storage and evergreen buffer abutting R1 and A1. I'll entertain a motion from the board.
Mr. Chairman, I'm very familiar with Mr. Mitchell and his situation, and, you know, you can't very well ask him to remain residential when residential is long gone from that area, I'm afraid. But I'd like to make a motion that we approve this rezone with the conditions of no outside storage, evergreen landscape buffer abutting R1 and A1. That's the only conditions.
Okay.
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Shelnut. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimous. Okay, number 4.5.
This is approval of land use 21110001 and rezone Z 21110002. A land use amendment from highway corridor to neighborhood residential
and rezone 44.56 acres from A1 to R1 OSC for a residential subdivision. The applicant is Ridgecliff LLC. The owner is April Browning. Property located at 845 Cedar Ridge. This is in District 5. The Planning Commission heard from opposition concerned about buffers and protecting the water resources, and the Planning Commission recommended approval as submitted.
Okay, thank you. I'll open a public hearing on this. Is the applicant here would like to come forward and
Just so you can see the buffers and where the, you get one? Sir? You forgot one on the end.
Sorry, Danny, my partner, usually does this, and he came down with a back problem tonight, so asked me to step down. My name is David Browning, husband of April Browning, the owner of the property, and we met with the Planning Commission last month. They requested, even before this, for 25%. I think this is a conservation, this is a, not conservation overlay, it's a open space conservation, I believe. And they asked for 25%. We went back and redrew it for 28%, I think it says on there, 28.5%. And we're keeping, even from the beginning, we're keeping the 4.5 acres on the river. Not sure if that was clear. So that is in between the subdivision and the river. We're going to keep that as a personal house. And we put the buffer along the river and along the creek in the back. So I think we reduced it by 2 lots and gave an increased buffer to make sure that we solidified your approval and made sure that we had more than enough of what was required. So I think the drawing states that, or percentages we had included on the notes there. You should be able to look at the layout, and there's also a few drawings of the houses proposed to go in there, some examples. So if you have any questions.
okay? Any questions from the board? What's the blue square area that's on the?
That's the retention pond for the
Okay.
water retention.
Okay. And the city's pump station is this first?
The first
lot
little square, it's
on the
excluded
left.
from the property. That was out of the property when we purchased it originally.
And this left-hand property line is the center line of the river?
Yes, sir.
Or- Okay,
Yes, sir. And we're keeping that front 4.5 acres along with a house that's already there.
to have,
We're going to remodel that.
to have a bigger buffer along the river?
Bigger buffer. We increased it in between our property and the subdivision.
Okay. All right, thank you. Is there anyone else here in support of this application that would like to make a comment? Okay, is there anyone here in opposition to this application like to come forward and make a comment? Well, I know all y'all are here for one of these, and I'm wondering which one it is. I'll close the public hearing on this one and entertain a motion from the board to,
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve, following the planning and zoning's recommendation, honoring the city's request for the buffer around the pump station.
okay, we have a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
We got a second by Commissioner Shelnut. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll call a vote on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimous. Thank you. Four point six. This has got to be the one everybody's here for.
Okay, this is denial of Z21110004, rezone 125.51 acres from A1 to R1 OSC to create a subdivision including variances. The applicant is David Pearson Communities, James Matthew Mazawi, and John Mark Mazawi as trustees of Will Hugh Mazawi as the property owner. Property is located at Highway 20 and Pointer Road. This is also in District 2. The Planning Commission heard from opposition with concerns about water pressure, traffic, the ability for the fire department to meet the needs in this area. And there were several, as you stated, there were several people in the community that were opposed. The applicant sent a letter today. They are asking that this be tabled, and they did not have anyone. Their office is closed due to COVID, and they had no one that could be here tonight to represent. And they want it tabled and referred back to the Planning Commission to regroup and redesign their proposal.
So if you table it, it comes back next month.
Right, not table, I'm sorry, it's to refer back to the.
I'm not in favor of tabling,
Yeah,
okay.
they want to refer it back. It would go to the Planning Commission, the first,
Just tell them, go back to the drawing
Thursday.
board and come up with something that is more compatible with the area.
okay, yes, sir.
Do we need to open a public hearing if we're going to send it back to the Planning Commission? All right, we'll open a public hearing. We know what you're here for. Personally, I would not allow Walton County to be responsible for a sewer system within a subdivision. The taxpayers will not, I won't allow it, be responsible for carrying on a system where we don't have a sewer system. The county does not. Now, septic or the PUD developments where each lot has its own septic system, Walton County by all means allows that. And we'll be glad to let y'all spend time here tonight. This will come back around with a different design. It will not be nothing like what they've proposed with the 45 and 55-foot lots. Walton County's got stricter regulations even in the PUDs on lot width and size of the houses. And we're not Gwinnett, and we're not DeKalb, and we have a good thing going in the county, and we want to try to promote it. But there will be development, and, you know, I mean, half of us in here hadn't been here 10 years. I've been here my whole life, but we'll do what you want to do. If you want to come up, we know the issues. Each commissioner's had an earful on this development. Myself also. David Pearson Homes doesn't have a great reputation either in some areas. I saw the video. They claim they got a bad rap, but truth hurts sometimes. So we got a long road to go on this one as far as the county, and I think the board's committed to good development. And actually, we did our first bus tour right before Christmas, and toured developments in the county and took the board. And we looked at good developments, and we looked at some that we didn't like. So the board's getting a good feel of what's going on out there, and that'll be one of many that we'll be taking and looking and educating ourselves too as to what's going on. So, but I'm gonna open up public hearing. The applicant is not here to already made that statement. If any of y'all want to come up and take a few minutes, you're welcome to, because we're required by law to do that, even though we're going to table it, or not table it, we're going to send it back to planning for redrawings. So if you'd like to come up and make a comment, please do.
Good evening. Thank y'all for your service to our county. My name is Robin Dill, and I've lived in Waverly subdivision 17 years. I'm one of the original owners of that subdivision, and I appreciate how you as a county commission are thoughtfully processing an application of this magnitude. we as a community, and if you are in opposition of that zoning and that building, would you just stand, please?
You're in opposition to that layout and that tightness and that many homes on one track, correct? Yeah.
Thank y'all for standing. There are a couple of things that are very disconcerting to us in the location of a development going in that area. High density, meaning additional excessive traffic, both on a sleepy little road Pointer and Georgia 20 that we've already heard from, the accidents, the roundabouts that are being built, all of that. I am very concerned about the wildlife that has lived in that acreage for time unknown. And I have been in contact with the Department of Natural Resources to see if there's a possible option for the county to adopt that as a wildlife refuge. I want you all to consider, as we look at land usage in our whole county, how are we protecting the natural resources of the land that God's given us? He's called us to be good stewards of our land. The other thing that as we as neighbors in that subdivision think about the lack of the water, pressure, the traffic, the overloading on the schools that are already filled to capacity, is the plan had no buffer between our neighborhood and that neighborhood. It was like there would be 3 houses to 1 house backed right up to the backyard of the people in our neighborhood. And that is in itself very concerning.
Well, that plan is gone.
I agree, but as they bring it around. So thank y'all for your allowing me to speak in behalf of our neighborhood and these wonderful people that represent our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to put their 2 cents worth in? Because this will be back in another plan, and we will be hashing it out again. And please come forward.
My name's Terry Parsons, and I live off Chandler Hawk Road, and I'm kind of familiar with that area too, like a lot of y'all are. But, and then got to get my glasses out.
Understand that.
Can't see nothing these days. What drew y'all to live in Walton County? It certainly wasn't because it looks like Atlanta, Decatur, or Norcross. What drew you enough to care to represent the people of Walton County? Was it the retirement? Was it the perks and power? I would like to think the reason you sit here today is that you convinced enough people that you really care about the quality of life in your home of Walton County, like we do. It takes a lot of guts to run for office with passions for issues that affect our fellow citizens who elected you, believing that you will protect the county we love. I'm not against growth. I'm against developers who are out of state, or any developer that comes to our county and says, how many houses and how many apartments can we stuff on this property right here? I'm not against families trying to get as much money for the land they've owned and passed down for generations. But what are they leaving us with? Traffic congestion, overburdened schools, overburdened city services, or HOA subdivisions with out-of-state control, or apartment complexes developed by Blackstone or Buffett that have no ties to our community. I was pleased to hear what Planning and Zoning had to say with respect to the development on Highway 20 and Pointer Road. 240 houses on 125 acres, that's insane. And this developer wants homeowners to be responsible for waste management, and I know y'all said that's been tabled. Who is going to monitor? That's true. But this subdivision represents the stack and pack mentality that a lot of developers have for development in Walton County. Ask yourself, where do these developers live? Certainly not in the communities that they want to build for us. And like you said, where is it written Walton must degrade our zoning to accommodate these developers' wishes? I'm not opposed to development as long as it complements Walton County, not Fulton County. I know Rivian and the battery plant's coming and bringing thousands of good jobs, and we'll need housing. But ask yourself this, what is Walton going to offer these good people? A cracker box house on a quarter-acre lot with no room to put a storage building up, with garages so small you can't even put 2 four-door F-150s in? Or walk around it? We deserve better than that, and y'all should demand it. Loganville took the lead on the fight against high-density development. Our newly elected mayor and city council members campaigned on and promised small-town growth. That is the kind of growth that complements our area. I recently read Monroe's putting on the brakes on high density too. Yes, Walton will grow, but that growth should complement the county we've all come to love. And I've been here 30 years, and this is a great county, and I'd like to see it stay that way. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else would like to speak? I'd like to send this back to planning and, I'm sorry. Oh, we got one more, please. I was fixing to shut it down on you.
Good evening. My name's William Daniel. I live on Esco Drive. My father-in-law was the first house on Esco Drive, just down from this subdivision. Looking at this subdivision, we got to ask ourselves about our infrastructure system. Everybody talks about traffic. Everybody talks about the school system, the police, the fire. Look at the water system. Yeah, they offered to put in a booster pump, but what's that going to do to the pressure prior to that pump? Once that pump kicks on, it's going to make all our other pumps go to working harder, working more, causing more damage to our system. The line in my subdivision is PVC. So if that pump malfunctions and overpressurizes, I've lost water for a day, day and a half, 2 days, until we get it fixed. What about the electrical system? How much is our grid set up to carry? Are we going to be able to supply the power for all this, or are we going to be having shortages? I'd hate to end up like California. You know, they asked everybody to go to electrical everything. Now they're overloaded the grid system. Like Terry said, responsible growth is fantastic. We're going to do it. But let's not forget what Walton County is. It is a destination county for the fact that we can be anywhere we need to be within 40 minutes or an hour to have anything we want to eat, to see the movies we want to see, to do the activities we want to do, but we're rural enough to enjoy the stars at night. Something you can't get in the big cities, and something that I showed my kids for when we were growing up, we got to do. So meteor showers, shooting stars, the joy you see on a child's face when they first see it, that's what makes Walton County a destination county for me. And I'd like to see that continue. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else?
I just wanted to bring up one point that.
Your name and address, please.
Marcella Higginbotham, 814 Winding Grove Lane.
Thank you.
Just wanted to bring up one thing I didn't hear anybody say, is just that in that land that they're proposing to use, there are several graves and grave sites that date back in the 1800s.
Well, they can't disturb the grave sites.
And there's quite a few.
The DOT's the only one I've known to move graves for public domain, and it takes an act of God just about to do that.
Some of them date back like Civil War time.
Okay,
So I just wanted to put that out there because I hadn't heard anybody.
I appreciate it. All right, is anyone else? I'd like to close the public comment on this issue so that we can shoot it back to planning and zoning, and then when they rework it, hopefully more in the guidelines of Walton County's codes. So I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion from the board.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to let the applicant take this back to planning and zoning, but I can assure the people here that it's going to have to be a whole lot different than what we've seen. But also, if they come back and would adhere to what is already in place in the county, I'm kind of bound by the laws that we go by what we've got. And I think all y'all understands that. But I'll make sure that the wetlands, and there's quite a bit of wetlands on this property, is took care of. The graves, I've heard about the graves before, but I can assure you that is a lot higher than Walton County is, so they'll be protected very well. But if they want to come in on half-acre lots and
Well, they can't do half acre without some sort of sewer system. Our county, if I'm correct, Sharna, we allow 1 acre lots with county water and 2 acre lots without. Maximum density of 1 house per acre, even in a PUD, which they're not allowed to, they don't get that because of soils. If they happen to be sewer, and that's one of the big hubbub about the sewer with Loganville, and in the county, we've changed ours to 2 per acre, where it used to be 3 if you had sewer. Out in the county, if the cities allow sewer, we will allow 2 houses per acre. We still got to have a 100-foot lot on the sewer side. If it's county water and 1 acre, you got to have a 150-foot lot. And we've raised the square footage from 1,600 to 2,000. We've done away with vinyl siding. If you build a 2-story, it's got to be 2,200. All that's been done in the last 6 to 8 months in an effort to, and we put some architectural requirements on the exterior appearance of homes. All that to try to promote what we're seeing out in the county with the nice family homes and stuff that are custom built, and trying to get these tract builders to follow same lead. But Mark, you gonna send it back to?
I'll go back to planning zoning. I'll make a
All
motion.
right. Got a motion, I'll second that. Go ahead and call the vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? All right, we send it back. They got to get instructions, follow our codes, and come up with something more compatible to the area. You know, the company's made us buy the tract for wildlife. I'm not spending taxpayer money on deer that's going to eat my garden. But if they want to donate it for a park or something, the county gladly appreciate it. So let's go to the last zoning, 4.7.
Okay. Approval of Z21.
Thank y'all for coming.
Let me just wait a second.
Wait just a second. We'll give y'all a chance to exit. Y'all getting to go eat, and we got to stay here and work. Oh, we know that. You know, all these people moved out here during the COVID. They were getting away in spaces, and they run to Boss Brothers and buy seed, and we're going to have the first garden they ever had. Nobody warned them about all the deer we got. You know?
All over the place. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
4.7, approval of Z21110005, rezone 2.25 acres from A1 to R1 to create a buildable lot. The applicant is Amber Spitzer. Owners are Carl and Pamela Bishop. Property is located at 1950 Bowl Springs Road. This is in District 5. There was no opposition, and the Planning Commission recommended approval.
All right, thank you. I'll open the public hearing on this. Is the applicant here? Would like to come forward and briefly tell us what you want to do?
My name is Amber Spitzer, and I want to split my parents' property so we can build a house.
I couldn't understand you, I'm sorry.
I want to split my parents' property to be able to build our house.
Build another house?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you. Is anyone else here in favor of this like to speak? Anyone here in opposition like to speak? Then I'll close the public hearing, entertain a motion from the board.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, we approve this based on the planning and zoning's recommendations.
Got a motion from Commissioner Adams to approve.
I'll second.
We got a second from Commissioner Dixon. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimous. All right, and we have one amendment.
It is one amendment with 7 pieces,
7 parts, one amendment.
7 parts. Do you want me to just go over each one? Or
I read it, but yeah, for the record, I think you
Okay,
need to
all right.
run over it.
Okay, errata number 1 is to amend Article 5, Part 2, Section 100, size restrictions of accessory buildings on non-subdivision parcels. Currently, accessory buildings in R1 are limited in square footage according to the number of acres the lot contains. This amendment will remove those conditions on parcels that are R1 that are not a part of a subdivision. It would still apply in a subdivision, but not in a subdivision, it would not apply. And also, it would amend it to state that in a platted subdivision, they have to maintain a residential appearance, so there's not storage containers used for accessory building. Number 2 is to add exterminating and pest control as a conditional use in the A zoning, which is our commercial agricultural use, and we're adding supplemental regulations to that in Article 6. Number 3 is corrections to the guest house guidelines. After speaking with the health department, environmental health department, we were made aware that a lot that has water has to have 1.2 acres in order to have 2 houses, a main house and then a guest house. Each dwelling has to have 25,500 square foot of usable soil.
So if a house is sitting on 1 acre out there and they want to do a guest house,
They couldn't do it.
they couldn't do it. Have we been approving guest house on 1
We
acre?
have done some on 1 acre, not many. Most of them are larger. We've done a few.
And what were they doing, tying into the existing
Evidently,
septic
the
system?
health department had a problem with that, so they've stopped it.
Okay,
So, and then if they have a well, normally you have to have 2 acres, but because of the requirements for the health department, it would be 2.4.
okay.
Okay.
But still, our code is fine as far as building a single-family
Family,
home?
yes, this is
Okay.
just for the guest house.
All right,
And the other part of this amendment is just removing some of the single-family guidelines, like the 25-foot, you have to have an interruption, because sometimes they're not any larger than that. You know, it's just to take that out. Errata number 4 is to amend Article 6 to change the percentage of maximum grade of roadways in all private drive subdivisions. It will, the maximum grade from 14% and 17% to 12% will lessen the grade and provide for better development that is more accessible to buses, trash trucks, and fire trucks.
okay.
Errata number 5 is basically administrative correction. Article 9, streets and sidewalks, it currently reads that an open ditch open ditch road has to have board approval, and we changed the code so that they can do an open ditch with those larger house sizes. So that's just an administrative correction to remove that verbiage.
Okay,
Errata number 6 is add guidelines for mini warehouses and self-storage warehouses in Article 6. Currently, we don't have any guidelines that they have to go by. And we've had a lot of confusion about the number of parking spaces required, because Article 7 for parking doesn't really address it. I mean, they would have a load of parking spaces if we went by that. So we're adding guidelines for parking. We, a couple of things, you guys received the wrong errata sheet. We are adding that the vehicles have to be operable. If they do have an area where they're keeping vehicles, they do have to be operable. And also the aisles in between the mini warehouses would require 30 foot instead of 26 to allow for fire apparatus and to meet the fire code. Article number 7, this is something that some of the board members had asked us to look at. Cell towers are currently a conditional use. A person has to apply for a conditional use. And as y'all are aware, you have to have a really, really good reason to deny it. we've never found one that we've had a reason enough that you guys could deny it. So this will just take it out of the format for y'all, and we will review it in-house if y'all approve this, and they won't come before the board for a conditional use.
We won't have to approve another cell tower.
That's right. And that's it. That's all of them. If y'all have any questions, or if you want to approve them all at one time or individually, it's up to the board.
Does anyone of the board have any questions? Well, I think it'd be appropriate to approve them all at one time if there's no questions.
Yes, sir.
Entertain a motion to approve the
So
land
moved.
development orders.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we move on to the consent agenda. Is there any questions on any items of the consent agenda? If there's not, I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimous. Okay, Finance Department.
Good evening, and Happy New Year to all of y'all. I brought with me Ryan Jones. He's a senior manager with Walton and Jenkins. Ryan is from Albuquerque. Originally, he went to the University of New Mexico, has worked almost exclusively in the government sector, so he's got a lot of experience. And he was in charge of the group that came into our office just after Labor Day, and they're just now finishing. Seems like a long time, but
We were putting a lot of pressure on them for some other issues too at the time.
exactly. So he's here tonight to present the results of the fiscal year 2021 audit, and I wouldn't say this if I wasn't. I'm very proud to introduce this gentleman. He's done a great job. And Ryan?
Thanks, Bill.
Well,
Well, hello, everybody. Albuquerque, New Mexico. We made a move across the country last year, and Walton County was the first audit I worked on. And just driving up here from where I was at, I was just amazed at how beautiful your county is. So I look forward to coming out here every year.
We have a little bit of greenery
Yeah,
compared to New Mexico.
As opposed to New Mexico, yes, you do. Yep. So each of you should have a copy of the annual comprehensive financial report and also an auditor's discussion and analysis. And we've converted that discussion and analysis to a PowerPoint presentation. And I'm not going to go through every single thing on here. If you see anything in the documents that you have that you want to ask me, feel free. So Adam Fraley is the engagement partner. He's the final sign-off for the audit procedures. I supervised the staff who were on site. Milton and I talk quite a bit throughout the year about accounting issues. We have a really good relationship, and he's really smart. He's really nice. He makes us all feel welcome, and he asks really good questions too. So you have a good guy here in Milton. So our responsibility for conducting an audit, we perform our audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards and government auditing standards. We do look at internal control, and we consider it as part of designing our audit procedures, but we do not express an opinion on internal control. We provide reasonable and not absolute assurance on your financial statements, so we don't look at everything. We have what we call materiality. We use that to really drive the audit with our risk assessment. And it is important to point out that the basic statements are the responsibility of management. We just audit the numbers, and we give our opinion on that. And I'm happy to say that for the 2021 financial statement audit, we have an unmodified audit opinion on the statements, and that's the highest level of opinion that independent CPAs can give on a set of statements. So congratulations to the county. It's important to note that, that there are some estimates within your financial statements. We do our best to get comfortable with those estimates, but they are subject to change. Some of your big ones are your allowance for doubtful accounts and also the valuation of the pension and OPEB-related accounts that are on your statement of net position. The second bullet here about the relationship with management, as I mentioned, Milton and his entire staff cooperate. You know, we have lots of questions during an audit, and they work really hard to get us those responses as soon as possible. And I do want to point out that before we embark on an audit, we make sure that we're independent of the county. There's no financial interest that might impair that independence, and we were independent, so we're able to issue our opinion. Some financial trends, I will say I audit a lot of counties and cities around Georgia. Walton County is in a really good financial position. This focus here is on the general fund. And really what you want to take away from this is that in fund balance, which is basically your accumulated equity, you have enough in there to fund 10 months worth of expenditures. So if revenue stopped coming in the door tomorrow, you guys would be okay for 10 months. And that's a really good marker of financial health. Geez, I keep doing that. Your revenue sources, as would be expected, taxes are about 79% of your general fund revenues. Everything else falls into the remaining 21%. And that's typical of counties in Georgia. General fund expenditures, again, as you would expect, general government is 20%. And this year, the biggest expenditure as a group was for public safety at 42%. And this shows a comparison between your revenues and expenditures for the past 5 years. In 2021, the general fund's fund balance actually increased by $15 million. So you guys have a lot more revenues coming in than expenditures going out. So that's obviously a good thing. We do have some items I want to discuss with you about audit findings and some of our recommendations for how to improve those. So I'll be getting into those next. The first one is in regards to capital assets for the Development Authority. We were looking at what was provided as far as the list of properties that make up the dollar amount that is presented on the Development Authority's books. And we came to find out that a lot of the costs in different properties had been accumulated into one or two line items. And so it was a very short list of properties. And so after asking some questions, of Milton, Shane at the Development Authority, we were able to get the Development Authority to break those costs out individually by property. And the reason that's important to have is when you sell a property, you need to know what the cost basis is so that you can accurately report your gains and losses. So that has been remedied as of now, and it's my understanding that moving forward, there will be some changes in how those are accounted for. Accounts payable, again, this is Walton County Development Authority. We were looking at some of the costs of the properties and the improvements that were being made. We received a couple of construction invoices that were received after year end, but pertained to fiscal year 21, ending on June 30th. And there were costs of approximately $470,000 that had not been recorded in the accounting system. So that resulted in audit adjustments, basically showing that those amounts were payable at year end, but also that you had the asset, essentially at year end. So that's a balance sheet entry. A significant deficiency that we identified, this is unidentified liabilities. The Clerk of Superior Court, when fines are brought in and collected from the public, those are immediately due to be paid out to other parties. And so after our audit procedures were performed, it turned out that there was about $195,000 of essentially cash being held by the clerk of superior court that wasn't identifiable to a specific entity where that money should go. And it is my understanding there was a change in the accounting system that might have contributed to that. It's really just a matter of identifying those liabilities and getting that money paid out to whoever it needs to get paid out to. This is a minor matter. When we test cash balances, Georgia state law requires that deposits are collateralized at 110% of the bank balance less FDIC. So there was one account where after you backed out the FDIC insurance of $250,000, you were left with $13,600 that did not have pledged collateral assigned to it. And it is my understanding that shortly after year end, that was remedied. But as of June 30th, 21, that cash was not collateralized.
In other words, we had like a CD or something that was 16,000 above the 250 that's covered by FDIC.
That's correct.
Okay.
It was just it was a bank deposit. I don't think it was a CD, but
It was just a deposit. Okay.
correct. And that was just one instance. You all deal with several financial institutions, and the rest of them with the much larger balances were all properly collateralized.
Okay.
And this is a comment that we also communicated last year, and really, the bottom line is it's important to have documented IT procedures that are updated annually at least to respond to sort of evolving threats, malicious, ransomware. I mean, there's hackers everywhere trying to get into governments, private businesses. There is something called a cybersecurity risk management program. Our firm actually offers some free training on this, but the information is available lots of different places online to get sort of a template of what an effective cybersecurity risk management program would look like. And it's not to say that Walton County does not have any sort of documentation or is not taking preventative measures, but in today's day and age, it's important that it's robust. So we did want to bring that to your attention. So Gatsby, they're the standard setters for how governments report financial activity. During 2021, if you recall, prior to this year, you had what were called agency funds. And those are funds that collect money on behalf of third parties. And so it's not the county's money, it's just held by the county. And then it's dispersed out to where it needs to go. Gatsby Statement Number 84 changed it really changed the approach to determining what fiduciary activities really are. And for those fiduciary activities that still remain, instead of having a real basic statement presented, you essentially have a full balance sheet and a full income statement. So there's more information available to the readers of the financial statements about where exactly that money is going and where exactly it's coming from. Moving forward for future Gatsby pronouncements, Gatsby number 87, leases. Historically, if you had a lease, a multi-year lease that met certain criteria, you would end up putting that on your balance sheet, capitalizing it as a capital lease. What Gatsby 87 does is it essentially turns all multi-year leases into capital leases. So instead of just having annual rent payments, what you're going to have is a leased asset on your balance sheet, and then as payments are made against that, it will be reduced until the end of the lease term. And following that, in 2 years, it's essentially the same standard, but it's going to apply to not your traditional leases, but more subscription-based leases. So if you have a cloud system that you're paying somebody to maintain your information on other servers, that also becomes a capitalized asset instead of just being charged to rent expense every year. There's some other things coming up by Gatsby. Actually, in a couple years, government financial statements are going to look quite a bit different than they do now. That's still on the horizon, though. They're talking through it. They have to keep their jobs, so they come up with new ways of changing things. I did want to point out that as a firm, Walton and Jenkins provides lots of opportunities for CPE, and you don't have to be a CPA to watch them. You can just tune in. It's all webcasts. We talk about IT. We talk about risk management. It really is across the board. So if anybody's interested in watching that in your free time, certainly let me know, and I can get you plugged into that. And again, just on behalf of the firm, we really enjoy serving Walton County. We're happy for the opportunity, and like I said, I love coming out here. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Just to sum up, I think in one of the strongest financial positions the county's been in at some time as far as our balance sheets and general fund balance, especially. We're working on the Development Authority to get their act together and account for their expenditures. And I'd like to make a statement while the accountant's here, hopefully back me up that I'm correct. There's been a huge misconception ever since Hard Labor Creek Reservoir was started by our Water Authority and Oconee County Water Authority that the Walton County taxpayers are paying for the reservoir, the large fishing lake we have, when in truth of it, the customers of the Walton County Water and Sewer Authority have been paying those bonds and making those payments. And Walton County, as far as we could tell, we found $480,000 that Oconee County reimbursed us in a dormant account that the commissioners put up front, and we've since got that back, and that no property tax dollars have been spent on Hard Labor Creek Reservoir. And it being an enterprise fund, I think I'm correct in saying that the Walton County Water and Sewer Department is paying their 72% and Oconee's paying their 28% of the reservoir. I just want to clear that up because when we raised our water meter rates on the Water and Sewer Department, half of the calls I get complaining about it say, well, our tax dollars is paying for this lake, and why are you going up on my meter rate? But your property tax dollars are not paying for the reservoir.
Well, I can point you to a statement that might help you explain this to people as the questions come up. So on page 24, this is essentially your proprietary fund, your enterprise fund income statement. Mm-hmm. So we have water and sewer, and you have EMS. And you can see that the revenues coming into water and sewer, and this is also where, let's see, yeah, they transfer out to the debt service fund. But the money coming in is not really, there aren't other sources of revenue other than charges for services and water sales. So your property taxes are coming in through the general fund. And to my knowledge, on page 51, you can see there are transfers between funds. The only transfers into the water and sewer fund is from the 2019 SPLOST fund, and that's just to help supplement projects.
From SPLOST funds?
That's correct.
Okay.
And another resource for you or whomever is asking the question, on the very next page, 25, that's your statement of cash flows. So the water and sewer fund, in 2021, receipts from customers and users was about $12.3 million. You have payments of suppliers or payments to suppliers of a little bit less than $7 million, and there are not any tax revenues coming into the water and sewer fund. which is responsible for paying the debt on the hard labor creek.
Okay.
We're partially responsible.
Well, I was mostly right. There's
You
splash
sounded like you were
funds
right. Yeah.
being done with. Okay. Any questions on the audit? Entertain a motion to accept the audit as presented.
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second.
You have a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimous. All right, we have some resolutions that,
Okay, there's an amendment, a budget amendment. The Stormwater purchased a pickup. It was in the FY '22 budget, and because of supply chain and lack of inventory, it went up $3,481. That's the first one.
okay?
The second one relates to, I'm going to explain this, and then please ask me questions when I'm finished. The American Rescue Plan, I think we're all familiar with, and the state of Georgia recognized that there's a backlog of cases due to COVID, court cases. So they made available part of the American Rescue money to judicial districts throughout the state. They would have to apply for the money. The Alcovy district did apply, asking for two investigators to help out with the backlog, two new investigators, one for Newton and one for Walton. And then also two investigative assistants, again, one for Newton, one for Walton, so a total of 4 employees. That was in their application, plus some administrative costs. The application has been approved. The total amount is $311,515. It's a reimbursable grant, meaning the state will reimburse us from these American Rescue funds if we send in monthly reports to them, of what's been spent. It's an annual application, an annual application, so we have to apply every year. So this would be approving 1 year of the grant, and it goes for 3 years. After 3 years, it runs out.
After 3 years, they're our employees then.
It's a choice, yeah.
Okay.
So as presented, there's no effect to the fund balance. And again, the $311,515 would be for 1 year, 4 employees, 2 for Walton, 2 for Newton. All the funds would come through Walton. That's why it's Newton's is included here, if that makes sense to y'all. So the revenue, all the revenues coming in, and all the expense would be reimbursing not only Walton, but we would send Newton their funds.
And then, will the Walton investigator need a vehicle? Or you think they'll be asking for a vehicle?
Where'd the Cliff go? There you are. Would you like to address this?
I don't know for sure. I'm Cliff Howard, I'm the Chief Assistant District Attorney. Randy Neely sent me that he had to go to the Newton County meeting to see about that. It's my understanding, I think that a vehicle is included, although I'm not sure about that. Anyway, that's best. I'm sorry, I can't give you
I understand the backlog and the need for help, and this takes care of for 3 years, but I'm smart enough to know once we got an employee for 3 years, he's our employee from then on, and the taxpayer will pick up the difference. And if there's a vehicle involved or a request for a vehicle, we'll have to budget for that. And
I would suggest to you in 3 years, most likely we would probably need another investigator. Anyway.
probably another one on top of that one, yes.
Well, not necessarily on top of that, because the backlog might be worked through within 3 years.
I mean, it's a great deal for these 3 years.
Yes.
I mean, it gets help in here and it doesn't cost taxpayer, except for maybe a vehicle. So
So the second budget amendment relates to what I just said. It'd be increasing revenue by 311,515 and increasing expenses by the same amount. So,
Okay, and that's all the finance has got in the resolutions. Okay, entertain a motion to approve, or any further questions on, we have to amend the budget when we change our spending habits.
I make a motion to approve the amendments.
We have a motion from Commissioner Adams to approve.
Second.
Finance, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Unanimous. And resolution set times and dates of the regular meeting for the commissioners for the next year. And they should be posted, right? Entertain a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Need a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then the next one is adoption of amended and restated ACCG 401, defined contribution plans for Walton County employees. And we need to adopt that, so I entertain a motion to adopt that resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Do we have a second? Any
Second.
further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes unanimous. All right, the popular one, 8.4, it's a resolution amending the Walton County Service Delivery Strategy to address Stanton Springs and Stanton Springs North, and to limit Monroe's sewer service area at Monroe's request, and to limit Loganville's service sewer area at Loganville's request. Counselor, would you like to address that, or?
I think you've seen the resolution that's been talked about for 3 months now. It's pretty clear what, as it relates to sewer service, these are requests at those cities' requests. I can answer any questions you have, but you've got the language.
All right, are they,
I don't even see why we haven't, I'm ignorant now. Why are we doing this when we don't even own sewer? If Monroe don't want to give sewer, they don't have to, or Loganville.
can I ask a quick question? I understand what you're saying. I don't want to get in the sewer business either, and don't want to get in it. But in a situation like the gentleman from Loganville, when he's already started the process, and their sewer was part of our service agreement area, could that be grandfathered in under the?
Basically, what they requested to be able to serve, to do sewer in that area. We've never gotten in the business of telling a city where they have to.
I know we haven't, and
So that's really, again, related
between them and the cities.
between them and the cities.
Okay.
All we're doing is acting at the city's request. If the city's doing something violating their rights by asking us to do that, then they can go out to the city and it'll either be successful or they won't. But again, I agree, it's not really our issue. That sewer area was, they were allowed to provide within that area because they asked you for it. The key is that they're asking for it because they want the service delivery to match their internal policies as to where they're willing to provide sewer or not. And we have to send those service delivery, any agreements or amendments that are made have to be submitted to DCA. And so you're just simply acting based on their request as to where they want their area to be. But that's basically it.
And Mr. Counsel, that what Mr. Henson had asked to be grandfathered would have no bearing anyway, would it?
I'm sorry?
He had asked to be grandfathered because he's been working on this project forever.
And again, whether he's grandfathered as it relates to the city of Loganville, that's between him and the city of Loganville. If a court tells Loganville that they have to provide sewer, then I assume Loganville will come and say, we need you to amend the service delivery area to include this area because the court's telling us we have to provide.
Court ordered it to do it.
Could I ask Mr. Henson a question?
I'm sorry?
Mr. Henson, did you buy the 3 acres next to the Simmons, you bought that, so why not annex in?
Well, I couldn't annex in, I tried to annex in, back in 2019.
But you didn't own the property then, I thought it was Island.
They didn't have a minimum. The only reason I bought that property is because the county has a 30-acre minimum requirement. And so that's the reason I bought the property. The city changed their zoning ordinance, as I was in the process of getting everything submitted to them. And even though I had submitted an application to them in January of 2019, I believe it was in September, they put a moratorium on Amended August. And then when I went before them in November, the night that they adopted the new ordinance, I asked them to recognize my original application and everything else, be a supplement to that, and they refused to do so. So I left that meeting that night thinking that was the end of it.
I remember
But
that.
in January of 2020, Chris Yancey brought it to our attention of the new 10-year agreement between the city of Loganville and Walton County. And he said our property was in that area. And so when I made the request for sewer capacity, he gave it. And of course, everything else, he's been working toward it.
All right, did that answer your question? All right, we need to make a decision on this and move forward, and hopefully Walton County stays out of it, to be honest, and we adopt this as presented. And I don't mind making a motion to adopt the service delivery strategy as it's presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions?
Well, what about what he's already did? I guess I missed that.
The idea is he's got a lawsuit with Loganville, and let the court will either tell him that Loganville has to provide him sewer. We're just saying, you've never been in the business of saying somebody's got to provide sewer to somebody.
I think he's talking about last month's action. You're talking about what we did last month. What you talking about? Yeah, last month, right?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Loganville, or are you talking about?
Talking about what we passed last month.
Yeah.
Yeah, this resolution.
This supersedes it.
Will supersede that.
Okay.
Basically, because since what's happened since then is Loganville's asking for the same thing. And so are you gonna get in where you're making a decision on what the cities are asking for based on a property owner here or a property owner there, or are you gonna go by what the cities are asking for, because they're the ones providing sewer, and let that be a fight between the city and the property owner that they're trying to get sewer from? Can I say something, please? It's in the public hearing.
No, it's not, and we've heard enough, and I understand. We're trying to stay out of this and let y'all, work it out with the cities. The cities run the sewer, the cities own the sewer, the cities control the sewer. Some of them, their lines are out in the county, like where they go to the treatment plant or whatever, but what we're trying to say is we're honoring the request of the cities to not have those lines in the service area at this time. That's what it is. Times past they were, but we have a motion and a second. And the discussion's for the board only right now at this point. Any further discussion from the board? I'm going to call the question. Those in favor of adopting this resolution as it's presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose?
Aye.
Which one? Kirkland? Kirkland oppose. So we have 5-1. Okay, the big one, approving the local redistricting maps. All y'all have had a copy. It's been on our web page of the new proposed districts. We need to approve this and send it on to the state for approval. So without any further ado, would someone make a motion to approve the redistricting?
Make a motion to approve the redistricting map, Sean.
We have a motion from Commissioner Banks.
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Dixon. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Resolution consenting to de-annexation of a portion of the Development Authority's property on Snows Mill Road. This is a piece of property that's going to be cut off part of the Development Authority's property that the VFW, that we're trying to work a deal with on their building for our clinic that we have been going back and forth with Monroe. And
Our purchase of the property there is contingent upon them buying another piece, and they're gonna be seeking de-annexation. And the first thing that has to happen before anyone can apply for de-annexation is you have to consent to it.
and we have to consent to it, so
Ultimately, it'll be up to the city of Monroe.
it will be, and Mr. Howard assured us once we deed that track off of the Development Authority that they would de-annex it. It's not going to pay any taxes to the county or the city, either one.
Right, Mr. Chairman, you're correct, and I have firmly had that belief, but everything has to go through the council. I'm just, let me say, just the mayor. I don't see a problem with it, but it has to close first, so the owner will have to bring it to us, and the council will have to.
All right, well, we have to agree to de-annex it. Okay. Entertain a motion to consent to it.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, Human Resources, finally. I'm sorry. We're staying here most of the night with these zoning issues, and
We know now how much Mr. Burks, Judge Burks thought of. We put him last on the agenda.
Yes, sir. Good evening. The first one is actually a request for an associate judge due to a rise in cases for magistrate court. And Judge Burke is here. I appreciate him coming to answer any questions that you may have.
wouldn't it be cheaper to pay overtime? I'm kidding. Any questions from the board? Well, you wouldn't be asking for it if you didn't need it, so. I know.
Second. Jeremy, I make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve from Commissioner Adams and a second by Commissioner Bradford.
Yes, sir.
Any further questions? Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? And then we have a request from the sheriff for 2 full-time deputies and 2 temporary deputies. This is to finish out the security at the Hammond Drive Courthouse. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
This is additional security to screen county employees through the employee entrance. And it's been recommended by the Justice Department that we better secure our facility, and that's one of the recommendations prior to me coming to office, and we're finally getting around to fulfilling that. So I entertain a motion to approve those.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve, got a second by Commissioner Bradford. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
Sure as we don't approve them two, somebody knock me in the head and there won't be a deputy there.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, it's time for the appointments. We have to do this annually. County Clerk, I'd like to reappoint Rhonda Hawk.
So moved.
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Assistant County Clerk Patrice Broughton.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
County Attorney Atkinson and Ferguson.
So
Under
moved.
the same agreement we've had in previous year.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And Vice Chairman, you gentlemen pick your Vice Chairman. You've had a good one for years, but make a motion.
Motion to reappoint Tim Shelnut.
We have a motion to reappoint Tim Shelnut.
Second.
And we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Okay, the Walton County Board of Appeals. I'm going to start off on this one. When I came to office with no transition, I was asked who I want on the Board of Appeals, and I said, well, whoever Kevin has, fine with me. I wasn't going to rock a boat, and she has been wonderful, but I do have the right to appoint my own member to the Board of Appeals, and I want to thank, excuse me just a minute, Penny Keener for her service on the board, but I would like to appoint Billy Mitchell, which has served on the Board of Appeals before, as my appointee. Commissioner Warren wants to confirm his appointee, and Commissioner Banks, do you want to reaffirm your? Okay, and Commissioner Shellnut?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Bradford, your appointee will not be in your district, in this new district.
Mr. Chairman, would it be okay to make sure that everything is approved through the state, and once the governor signs off on it, that if that changes, then I can make an appointment at that point? I understand we've asked for it and to move forward, and I'm guessing that that will move forward, but essentially,
Well,
March.
That, I'd like to take care of the appointments in January. Have you given any consideration to anyone else?
No, yet I was actually waiting on the time to make sure that, because I essentially may have to reappoint two.
Well, I've got a problem with some of the things that have transpired with your appointee, comments made. Didn't want to bring that up, but I'm prepared to make a motion to remove him from the Board of Appeals, and would ask you to appoint another one. I'll make that motion to remove him from the Board of Appeals.
I second.
Just for clarity, the people that serve on that, there's one for each district, but it's actually the board that appoints.
The board has full authority over them.
Historically, the district commissioner has made a recommendation to the board. Just all of these are board appointments with the exception of the chair.
And the board accepts the appointments. I've read the bylaws. I just, comments made treating someone outside the county different from someone inside the county and stuff. I don't want my administration to be part of that. And there's been some other problems with that. And I have a motion to remove him and a second. And I'm going to call the question and see if I can't get the votes to do it. And then you can appoint someone else in the next 30 days, Lee. When you got a problem, I like to deal with it. Calling the question. Those in favor of removing Steve Merker from the Board of Appeals, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose?
Aye.
We got 2 and 2.
I'm abstaining from it because I don't understand exactly what all is going on.
You're no.
I'm no.
It takes how many?
4 affirmative votes to do it.
4 affirmative votes, so it fails either way. We got 2 and 2. If I vote, it's 3 because Jeremy's abstaining. Okay, and we don't have to miss one. So Steve can stay on here until we confirm the district, but I'll visit this again.
Well, I mean, technically, it can be an unfilled.
I'm sorry?
Right? I mean, it takes a vote to put them on and a vote to take them off. So if we haven't voted to
We haven't voted to take him off.
He's on, those terms are unless you've got the ability to change them at any time, an appointment, but their general terms are commensurate with the district commissioner's term of office. So you don't have to reappoint each member every year, if that's
sure what was going on with.
You've historically reappointed, you've addressed them at the beginning of the year. But you can, like I said, they serve at the pleasure of the board, so the board can make a change at any time. Like last year, I think you just reappointed the slate, at this meeting. And so obviously the chairman wanted to make a change to his, which can be done. And again, any of the changes can be done. The state draws the redistricting maps, you've approved it, it's going forward. The bylaws also, the ordinance states that the person will live in the district for which they're serving. So I think what Commissioner Bradford's asking is that may be a change once those districts go into.
So once the governor signs off of it, it's what I'm asking for, that at that point, to make an appointment to make sure that something doesn't change. So let's say that it changed and I pick somebody inside where the district's changing to. If that were to happen and let's say they change one road, they just come one road back because it's got to go through two committees, to my understanding, then the governor's got to sign off on it. If they change one road and let's say my appointment was on that one road, then I'd have to change it again in 2 months. So I'm just wanting it to be confirmed that that's exactly what it's going to be by the state and the governor. That way I don't have to do this twice.
That's fine. All right, Commissioner Jeremy Adams, Todd White. Todd has been absent over 50% of the time.
Yes, sir. I called and talked to him today, and I talked to Ms. Parker. There were some extenuating circumstances, and he did pledge to me that he plans to be at all the meetings unless something done for, unless there's outrageous circumstances.
All right, so you're reconfirming Todd White.
Yes, sir.
And Commissioner Dixon, you're reconfirming Mr. Harold Moon
Yes.
Jr. And I failed to call a vote on my motion for Billy Mitchell to be my appointee.
I think you could now
Call the vote on all of them.
vote on the change as it relates to.
All right, there's only one change, and that's Penny Keener and my Billy Mitchell at this point.
And you could in part of that motion, you could reaffirm the rest.
All right,
I make a motion, we approve that change and then adopt the rest of the,
all right, we have a motion
I'll second it.
and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, the Walton County Water and Sewer Authority, there's no recommendation for any changes in those members. I'm sorry?
Rhonda asked me a question. I'm sorry, sir.
Those are for one-year terms, so historically you've,
So entertain a motion to reaffirm the Walton County Water and Sewer Authority as it stands now.
So move.
Have a motion, a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any other discussions y'all want to make? There's no announcements, but there is a need for executive session on a personnel matter that we need to have a motion to adjourn to executive session.
So move.
Have a motion? Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Been sitting there so long, I don't even stand up good anymore. You're free to run on.
I know who he is. Dr. Dixon. Nice to meet you, sir.
When you walked up, I know you from Newton County, I got notification one of my friends' kids died, and I was like,
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's about the time, but Chris Maverick told me to tell you hello.
Oh, good, yeah, good. Chris told me.
What brings you out tonight?
Oh, sir?
What brings you out tonight?
Oh, I meet you guys and
Okay.
see how y'all are.
Sir, Jeremy Adams, nice to meet you.
Chester Clegg told me he knew you too.
Yeah,
He
me
lives
and
in
Jess
your
are pretty good friends, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm friends, you got a good bunch up there.
Yeah, he listens to those guys are top notch.
Hey, you can't beat them. You can't beat them. They're making some interesting decisions over there.
Good.
Let me get back here. See you
Sorry,
there.
go ahead. Listen, have a good evening.
Yes, sir, you too.
I'll try to
You can be on. So, yeah. Technically, y'all know, but I'm not gonna make you go through shit. You just be going through that. I said, tell Cliff come down here and tell me.
No.
Oh, okay. He's like, you stand on that aisle, like.
Tell him I said that that's his. Yeah, you would.
And he would.
Oh, he would.
Already? Yeah. And there's,
So are you gonna meddle in there?
Yeah, there's a big bag scan there on the facility side now.
So where are we coming with that?
Yeah, it'll be on the floor right there. Yeah, where you guys can be. We are gonna try hard systems where you have to. So guys, and it'll have the clearance credential. Oh, you don't have to go through security. Because everybody's gonna try. They're gonna go, oh, open that door for me. You go, no. You ain't putting Cliff's name on this.
That's right.
That's the funny part. Is that nobody understands. You know, scanners go through, they encrypt your card.
Oh, I do that.
Oh, well, I was gonna say most people don't. They're like, oh yeah, I just held the door for you. Like, between that and the camera system, we're like, hey, we're not trying to be nuts, but we're trying to stay in compliance too, you know?
Well, yeah, that's why you should come to the county commission meeting.
Right, yeah, you learn all kind of stuff.
Well, take care.
Good to see you, Clint. Yes, sir. Happy New Year, sir.
So when are we having our next COVID crisis?
So, all I can tell you is it's a Clorox product, it says so long, you'll go with it. You can do whatever.
Well, you know they canceled.
I don't know what y'all's law is, I'm sure it's there, but you can do that. You wish you would. Let's do one out there. They will. This guy, this is what it'll take.
But I see, and of course, I was gonna call them, they could get back to more normal before.
It's more contagious, it's not a potent, it's just not like it's sick. And the CDC, because now they got healthcare workers, non-healthcare workers, vaccinated, non-vaccinated, fully vaccinated with the booster, not fully vaccinated without the booster. And they won't call it right guidance. It's county on that. I'm like, that's a full-time job. That's a full-time job. Good luck to you. Yeah, well, you're supposed to be the miracle worker.
I was there, good to see you.
Well, look, good to see you. You know what he's saying like that? The world, God, step aside. Too late. These other two are already rotten. We're gonna get him as rotten as they are. What you telling me? That's what I'm about. Yeah. Good up there. He been there, his mama goes back. Good deal. We appreciate y'all. Look, y'all, we can get where we need to be. I'm gone. But you know what the report from the hospital was this morning? Less than 30, less than 30.
Okay, I think we got to do a motion, come out of executive session and go back to general session. All right, we have a motion, come out of executive session, go back to the
Second.
general session. Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And Melissa, are you going to the position, or are we going to vote on that now?
Mr. Chairman,
All right,
I make a motion that we abolish the position of Administrative Secretary for the Georgia Forestry Commission.
all right, we have a motion to abolish the administrative
Secretary for the Georgia Forestry.
secretary for the Georgia
Effective
Forestry
effective
Commission.
immediately.
Do away with that position totally. We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Passes, unanimous. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
You have a motion, second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.
Hey,
You got your audit, don't you?
Shauna's gone. I was gonna ask you this quick. We do have to have a permit to get a